Welcome to the Hookup on Music with your host, Tony Bird.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 142. My name is Tony B, and I am your host tonight at the Hookup on Music. I really appreciate you tuning in for this episode, but let's not hold off any longer, and let's just jump right into what we have to talk about tonight, which is going to be some really good stuff here. We're going to have some really, really good stuff to jump in and talk about, including the release of the brand new album by Megadeth. It's their 17th album and the final studio album by the American thrash metal band. It's produced by Dave Mustaine and Chris Registah. It was released this past Friday, January 23rd. It is their only album with guitarist Teemu Metinyasare, and their first since 2009's Endgame to feature bassist James Lomenzo, which is very, very interesting to hear. The album was announced back in August, and we've been kind of talking about it throughout the things. We've talked about Tipping Point. We've talked about a couple other of the songs, like Let There Be Shred. But let's go in a little bit about the production, okay? The production was pretty much frontman Dave Mustaine was definitely got started on this whole album before the rest of the band got into the studio, which was really actually pretty cool when you think about it. The band members themselves would meet up in the studio to record the album a couple weeks after Christmas in 2025. By June, the album was near done, and all it needed was Mustaine recording vocals, which is very, very cool. If you've taken a look at the album cover, it has Vic Rattlehead on it. The amazing Vic Rattlehead, who we know and love because he is so cool. He is on the majority of all of their albums. And he is honestly very memorable in the fact that just that cool skull with cool teeth and a lot of cool things. As stated before, the very first single was Tipping Point. The second single was I Don't Care. The third single was Let There Be Shred. And the fourth single was Puppy Parade. Digging into the album though, I Don't Care and Hey God at 2-3, those are really good rockers. But a song that everybody seems to be talking about and digging into even deeper is the last track, The Last Note. If you have not heard this song yet, please take some time and listen to the whole album, and definitely listen to that last track, because you will not be disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Because to be fair, we are not going to get any more Megadeth albums. So we're going to want to take this one in and really, really listen to it and really, really kind of give it our all if you are a Megadeth fan. And even if you're not a Megadeth fan, there's some really, really good stuff on this album. Definitely awesome guitar solos, some really great leads by the players on the album. But definitely just worth your time to kind of get in and dig into. If you happen to hear, there is also a cover of Metallica's Ride the Lightning, in which Dave Mustaine helped write. That one you could kind of skip, considering the original is such a classic. And honestly, the remake, I thought they were going to do some things different, not really that different. But if you happen to buy the album at Target and happen to get your hands onto that Bloodlust, the bonus track, that is really, 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 really good, to be fair and to really dig in deeper. So go ahead and listen to this album, okay? I'm curious to hear your version of it, of what you feel and believe. But definitely a good album all the way through, just to be able to really listen to. I mean, if you're going to dig into some of the fans and what they're saying online, you're hearing a lot of different stuff. You're hearing some comparisons to maybe Euthanasia or Cryptic Writings. Some people are upset that it's not a throwback to Rust in Peace or Peace Sells. That's okay. I mean, it's a band coming up with their music. And to be really honest with you, just really glad to get a new album from Megadeth. Like I said, a lot of these bands, older bands, you just don't know if they're going to be putting out any new albums. And so when they do, you want to take it for what it's worth. I really like their last album. I think it was The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Just a really, really good album there. Um, but definitely you're going to want to sit there and just dig deeper into this for multiple different reasons. Um, one of them being that the guitar solos are just really, 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 really awesome. And they're coming live this summer, opening up for Iron Maiden. I'm sure they're going to be touring for the next couple of years, so you should be able to get a grasp and be able to see a little bit more of what that would look like if you happen to show up and seeing them. I'm sure as we get closer in some of the live shows, we'll be talking about those. But like I said, you're going to want to dig into this one. This one is not going to want to miss your CD player, your turntable, your tape player, wherever you're happen to get yourself a copy of it. Also brand new, going to be coming out is the announcement of a brand new Lamb of God album, which is really kind of cool to hear that they are going to be having a brand new Lamb of God album, which is definitely always good to hear. What is the name of this new album? It's called let's see here, Into Oblivion, which is really actually going to be really kind of cool. And it's going to be how do I put this? It's going to be a little bit kind of like everything else you like from the band. This Into the Oblivion, the track, it's already sounds really, 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 really awesome. Okay. March 13th is going to be the brand new album, and it's also the title of this track that I just heard, which honestly, it is heavy. It is awesome. Honestly, I've got some Meshuggah themes going on for me. But just a really um, really ferocious song. Um, so some quotes on this new album is that they needed some space to breathe creatively and not feeling like we have to keep up any trend expectation. I like that. Let's just make music that we think is cool, which is really where it all started. Okay. I thought that was really interesting. Vocalist Randy Blythe added, because that's where we're heading. In general, the album is about an ongoing and rapid breakdown of the social contract, particularly here in America. Things are acceptable now that would have horrified people just 20 years ago. Very, very interesting. Also is very interesting are the tracks Sepsis and Parasocial. They've already been released within the last month. Definitely worth taking some time into and digging into those tracks and seeing just how you like those ones. Those might be songs that you may really, really like, but you have 3 of them, okay, which is really cool. 3 tracks to start to get digging into this brand new all around just and honestly, you want to see them live too. They're coming to North America with Kubla Khan, TX, Fit for an Autopsy, and Sanguish Obog. Check out their full initiary if you have a chance to see if any of those tour dates line up to where you are. Very interesting and very cool to always get some brand new metal out here. So we've got a new Megadeth album that just dropped. We also got Lamb of God playing around with their new album that's going to be out in mid-March. Can't really say too much, but that's all really cool, and I think it's definitely good news if you are a fan of music as a whole. Also, recently, they have sat down with Sean Crahan of Slipknot to see what are they up to. What they've said is that they're the biggest thing that they need to do right now is take some breaks. Okay, take some real human time, is what Sean said. They're writing all the time, but they have not gotten to a place that to work what's been written out, which is very interesting to hear. Because last year, guitarist from Slipknot, Jim Root, suggested that possibly there are no that their process is no longer interested in music. But later, Root shared that his interest is getting back into creative headspace. So again, when you are a fan of any band or every band or whatever band you happen to want to check out or check in on and see what they are up to, definitely being in the right positive creative headspace is very, very important. And honestly, I think it's just a really good thing altogether is to get into that positive creative headspace to see what you guys can come up with and work on. Also, though, is really kind of where we're kind of backing into now because just last week we were really shocked the show was all put together, and then all of a sudden we had the sad little passing of Bob Weir. So tonight we're going to go into a little bit more of Bob Weir, but before we go into Bob Weir, it was kind of cool. A week from this past Saturday, so that's going to put us at the 7 days before the 24th, I think it was. Let's just make double sure so I can give you the exact day in case you want to check this out. Okay, rewinding back on the 17th of January, there was a little bit of a memorial that was put together with Mr. John Mayer. John Mayer performed Ripple in honor of the passing of the great Bob Weir, which if you can get an opportunity to go into there and check out that performance, you'll kind of just see a little bit more of just how important somebody like Bob Weir was to even someone like John Mayer. You know, when I first listened to John Mayer's albums, or their second album and the third album, before he was even a speck on the Dead and Company line, I just could never imagine that John would be sitting in with the band, but he has. What did John say about his late friend Bob Weir? He said, "Over the course of a decade, we came to trust each other," Mayer said. "He taught me, among other things, to trust in the moment, and I'd like to think I taught him a little bit to rely on a plan. Not as a substitute for the divine moments, but as a way to lure them in a little bit closer." Very, very interesting to hear that. So, like, there was this juxtaposition between the both of them to see kind of what they were going to do to turn the music into the special things in which they did turn that music into, which I just find to be very incredible and amazing that John and Bob were able to even get together and put this Dead and Company thing together. Because, going back to, around 09, 08, right around there, I saw The Dead, which wasn't Dead and Company. It was just The Dead. And instead of having John Mayer, they had Warren Haynes, which I just thought was really awesome and really incredible show. So when they switched to John, nobody really knew what to expect or what really to look into. And I gotta say, I've spent a lot of time within the last couple weeks listening into the Dead and Company catalog and some of those live shows. And boy, do they really hit. And I also feel like they're just very, 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 very important to the whole entire Grateful Dead lore. You could hear a lot of things that you might not ever be able to hear back in the Grateful Dead, which I think is just really kind of cool when you really think about it. I mean, Dead and Company formed back in 2015. There was a lot of skepticism of, like I said, Mayer stated that maybe I was showing him he could rely on me. But Bob took a chance on me. He staked the entire reputation on my joining a band with him. He gave me musical community. He gave me this community. So that's pretty cool to hear. I mean, John Mayer seems to think that all of this is he was able to be a part of it. The last show for Bob Weir took place this past summer at the 60th anniversary trio concerts that took place at Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. It was not aware that Weir was also had not revealed that he had cancer at that time. I know right now it's easy to feel as if time is speeding up and taking so much from us all. But I would remind you, as I have tried to remind myself this past week, of just how many nights we all live so fully in each second, hanging on to every word of Bobby's, following the music's twists and turns through forests and often majestic vistas, taking in the magnificent interviews and wondering how we all got so lucky to have been found by this music and invited into this dream together. Very, very interesting. Again, Meyer states, "Thank you, Maestro. You changed my life. I will love you forever. Thank you." Huge, huge words, very important words, very cool words if you really think about it. If you think of just how important the Grateful Dead has been to the whole entire musical zeitgeist, just very important and just really very cool that he was able to let all of that out to show Bob and the world just how important he was in the whole entire scene. But back to Bob here a second. Let's dig into a self-titled album by Kingfish. You may not be curious to who that was, but Kingfish was a side project to the Grateful Dead from 74 to 76. And he left the group shortly after the album's release, which is very interesting. Kingfish includes Lazy Lightning and Supplication, a jazzy song combination sung by Weir that quickly found its way into the Grateful Dead repertoire. So all of this Kingfish solo stuff by Weir made itself into the repertoire. It also featured Matthew Kelly on guitar and harmonica, Dave Tolbert on bass, and Robbie Hoddinott on guitar, and Chris Herald on drums. If you dig into this Kingfish album, there is 11 tracks: Lazy Lightning, Supplication, With Norland, Asian Minor, Home to Dixie, Jump for Joy, Goodbye Your Honor, Big Iron, This Time, Hypnotize, and Bye Bye Bye. On the album, Weir himself only wrote 2 tracks. He did write a couple tracks with John Barlow, which was very, very interesting. But again, just an album that you don't get to hear so much about. You don't hear at all about. You might not even know that Bob Weir was in a band called Kingfish, or maybe you do, or maybe it's been a long time since you've dug into that album. You go through the times, and what you're going to find is a lot of bands just honoring the great Bob Weir. Okay, you happen to dig into, let's just hypothetically speak, this weekend, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, they did a couple Grateful Dead songs, not specific to Bob Weir, but they did Casey Jones, which was a very, very, very good cover. And they also did Friend of the Devil, which was very cool to do. But again, taking the time and really digging into some of these repertoires of Mr. Bob Weir and the Grateful Dead is going to do you really good for the fact of, number one, you're honoring somebody who put in the time into music. That is what it's all about. It's about taking time and really finding the work, the good work that one musician can do. And definitely Bob was a kingfish. So he was the king of the fishes. And he kept playing. Last week we mentioned that Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers. Check out some of that stuff. As the time goes on throughout the year, I'm sure slowly we'll be digging up some more Bob for your listening pleasure and all of that. It's important. Even if you're somebody who's like, I never listen to them, they're stupid. So always check out something. You'll find something to appreciate in all of the music. Even if you like the Grateful Dead and you don't like Megadeth, check out some of those guitar solos. What are you going to do? Knock a good guitar solo? You can't do that. That's really just too good and too awesome to be done and be able to be happening. Really is just a very interesting, just an interesting all around, just something to say. If you hear somebody passes away, don't make that comment, I never liked them. Try to listen to something. Even if they're gone, you can find something. If you're in a heavy, you can find something cool in the heavy department in the Grateful Dead. You just can. You know what I mean? You can listen to their guitar pedals. You can find something really, really cool, but just do it. Just do it. Take some time, okay? Just like taking some time to listen to the Diasonics. When's the last time you've listened to some Diasonics, okay? Diasonics is, again, we are here to talk about some new music, some music you may not ever have listened into. What do they have, the Diasonics? They are blended in hip-hop rhythms and psychedelia and European flavors, funk instrumentals, just really, really, really good stuff. They're from Russia, okay? They're one of the latest additions to the Russian instrumental funk scene. Did you even know there was a Russian instrumental funk scene? Only formed in 2019, okay? Just some really, really good stuff, some good percussion, some really, really awesome stuff. In 2025, just this past October, they released their sophomore album, Ornithology, anticipated by the infectious single Oriole, which I find to be just actually cool in so many ways. I mean, you just don't really hear of a lot. So our new artist of the week is Diasonics, okay? Their debut album, Origin of Forms, was recorded on an 8-channel Japanese tape recorder, the Otari MX5050 MK3, at their headquarters at the Magnetone Studios in Moscow. I didn't even know this kind of cool stuff is being broken down, and it is happening, and it is happening right there in Russia. Shocking to me that I did. Honestly, I think I got to do some more research. So check into the Diasonics. Okay, let's give them a sound and let's hear how they sound and what you think of them. And please step back and share it with me. I would definitely appreciate that little conversation just to kind of hear what it is that they are doing. You know, what it is that they are trying to just all around, just new music. What new bands have you been checking out lately? What new stuff are you willing to share so that we can hear some new stuff too? Please always share this stuff with us. I really, 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 really appreciate it. It's cold outside, and we've talked about them before, but take a little time and check out Frozen Soul. They've been around since 2018 in Fort Worth, Texas. Not very cold there. Chad Green is on vocals. Michael Monday is on rhythm guitar. Samantha Mobley is on bass. Matt Denard is on drums. And Chris Bonner is on lead guitars. Crypt of Ice was their debut studio album, which was really cool. Their second album was called Glacial Domination. Really, really good stuff. Glacial Domination is a really cool album. They also got an EP, Encased in Ice. But Frozen Soul is definitely going to be somebody who you're going to check out, especially if you're in the metal category and say, hey, I like the way this sounds. This is definitely my cup of Joe, my cup of Job. But just definitely really cool is their name, Frozen Soul. So I need you to check these guys out because definitely, if nothing more, if you don't like the metal or you're not a really big fan, you will definitely just like their album covers because their album covers are extremely cool. And when you out there think of cool metal album covers, what metal album covers do you find to be super cool? Is there any that aren't cool? Because I bet there are a lot more cool ones than uncool ones. So take the time to look into those and to see a little bit more what that brings to you and your awesomeness of listening to tunes. So Frozen Soul, check those guys out. A song that's just playing in my head. My Eyes Have Seen You. Okay, this is a song by The Doors on 1967 album Strange Days. This is one of the first songs that Morrison ever wrote. Okay, which is interesting because it wasn't on their debut album. But he played it at Venice Beach for Manzarek when they were talking about forming a band. Okay, in '65, an early version of the album was a demo. This version can be released on the box set, 97 Doors box set. But that original was such a heavy echo chamber sound that the vocals don't sound like Morrison at all, which is kind of shocking because everything sounds like Morrison. The version for Strange Days was sped up from the demo version and incorporated a distorted piano sound. He felt that it was very reminiscent of Let's Spend the Night Together. Felt Morrison's vocal performance on the Strange Days recording was deeper and richer than on the demo. Pop culture writer Tony Thompson said that this recording retains some of the garage energy of this demo version, but has evolved into a more psychedelic outing. The lyrics are free from disguise, gazing down on the city of the television skies. Very interesting. It's a very bizarre story about possible seduction. Robert Krieger's guitar solo is reasonably heavy. So it's a little bit of a punk rock. It's also been described. Very, very interesting. Heavy evocative and climactic piece. But it also has that same potential of all the other awesome Doors songs that you've seen. It was performed live in clubs from 66 all the way to 67. So you find that to be just very, very interesting that to say that just for a couple of years they played this song. So it wasn't like they played the song all the way throughout their career, but they played it. And not only did they play it, they played it to excellent effect. Because if you could get your hands or be able to listen to some of those live recordings, you will realize that honestly, that's a really darn good recording. And you're going to tell yourself, why am I missing this awesome recording? Why have I not heard this awesome recording before? So please take the time and record the music, listen to the music, and try to compare all of them. I like to compare the demo to the original, and you can check all of that out. Even if you can't get your hands on the box set, just go on into YouTube and put in the demo version, and you can definitely hear and check all of that out. We are here towards the end of today, and today we are finishing up the note on the amazing Sam and Dave. Sam Moore from 1935 to 2025, and Dave Prater from 1937 to 1988. These gentlemen made music. It's sad that Dave's been almost gone 37 years, and we just lost Sam last year. They have influenced so many people, from Bruce Springsteen, Al Green, Elvis Costello, The Jam. I don't know why I said Al Gore, but if you want to look even deeper, is the track Soul Man. You know that from the Blues Brothers, okay? And Soul, not Frozen Soul, but Soul Man was originally done by the great Sam and Dave. You may say to yourself, where was Sam and Dave out of? Where did they form? Where did they start? They started their background singing gospel music in their homes and their churches. Very, very, very interesting to hear, until they happened to get together. Honestly, when did they get together? In the early 1960s. Sam and Dave, they got together. 61 was right around there. And one night at the King Hearts Club, they started working together immediately. They never didn't work together. So during the 60s, they were just pounding out songs and albums and a lot of good classics, okay? What are some of the albums? Hold On, I'm Coming. You haven't heard that album as a whole? That is great. Double Dynamite, 1966. Soul Man, 1967. I Thank You, 1968. Back at You, 1975. But sad, though. Sad are those years in which, unfortunately, Prater passes away in a car accident while he was driving to his mother's house, April 9th, 1988. So you sit there and you say to yourself, man, these guys could have been going. But they also were known to have a very tumultuous partnership between the both of them. They did not speak to each other off stage for almost 13 years. During the 70s, they broke up many times and typically would not show up separately for shows, require separate dressing rooms, and not look at each other on stage and communicate through intermediaries. How does that happen? How are you in a band and you are just pounding out all these awesome songs, and then at the end of the day, you can't work together anymore? That's a shame. And it's such a shame that you really sit there and say to yourself, like, you have the music, you have I Thank You, you have Soothe Me, a great track by Sam and Dave. And then at the end of the day, sometimes these people could not get along with one another. Did they have solo careers? Yeah, they had solo careers. But to sit there and just say that they never talk to each other, really, which is just sad. It's sad that you can't talk to each other. I mean, Dan Aykroyd saw Sam and Dave as a teenager at the Montreal Expo in 1967 and said that they were one of the biggest influences for creating the Blues Brothers. So here we go. Just Hold On, I'm Coming. Take that time and go back and listen to and dig into some of this music from these guys, because honestly, you're not going to be disappointed at all. That's what the show is. If you're like, I forgot about them, I haven't really listened to them, but please just do it. Take some time and listen to some Sam and Dave, because honestly, you're not going to be disappointed. Because their partnership, though it didn't spawn 17, 20, 30, 40 albums, it's just spoiled about 5 or 6. These guys are definitely awesome, and definitely deserve to have all of their flowers. So please go back and listen to some of that Sam and Dave. Go listen to that new Megadeth album. Check out the new Lamb of God. You know what I mean? Check out Frozen Soul. check out everything that I've talked about here tonight and get back to me. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. If you'd like us to cover something else or talk about a different artist, if you yourself would like to come on here, you can. It's free. Come on. Let's talk. Let's talk some tunes. But I will say, I do appreciate everybody tuning in and listening tonight. Please take the time, go back and listen to the past episodes. You're going to find a lot of awesome stuff there. A lot of interviews, a lot of cool digging deep into different artists and bands. Check out this past week's At the Show. Really good stuff there. We talked about the movie The Thing, the music all involved in that, even a real cool soundtrack pick of the week. Go back and listen to also the same thing with the James Bond, Shaken and Not Stirred. Talk about the soundtracks to all those. That's really awesome music. It's getting drafty in here. We talked wrestling songs. There's just all music all around all the time. So let me just tell everyone out there a couple things. Number one, I really appreciate you tuning in. It means the world to me because time is valuable. So if you're taking your time and you're listening to this show, thank you. Thank you so much. As the weather gets warmer and as I appear at more shows, we are definitely going to be spending some time together in 2026. Not just the show. I'm going to come see you. Where you at? I'm going to come see you. Also, thank you so much for just giving me the opportunity to talk music, okay? My name is Tony B, okay? This is the Hookup on Music. We are on the Sadistic Penguin Studios YouTube channel. So please go there and, like I said, check out all the awesome past stuff, okay? And then when you're done with that, get ready for next week because we're going to have a bunch of more awesome stuff. My name is Tony B. This is the Hookup on Music. I really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Enjoy the rest of your week. And please, if you're in a warm area, let's get some cold. If you're in a cold area, let's get some warmth. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Please look out for the audio version wherever you jam.